About 4 years ago, I posted a video called Alabama versus California political ads, and it talks about how in California, the political ads are the exact opposite of what they are in Alabama. I mean, there people are proudly saying they're liberals, they're Democratic. If you're a Republican, they almost kind of tar you with that brush. Like in the LA mayor's race, there's a guy named Britt who sucks. He was a Republican forever, and then he flipped to being a Democrat right before he wanted to run for LA mayor. But like his solutions to LA's problems of homelessness and another tax cut for the rich, easier regulations for the people who already own all the real estate, higher housing prices, none of this shit's going to work, okay? This anti-crime approach to a city that already poor people feel the squeeze more than anybody else. Alabama race, though, where they've gone in the opposite direction of basically Kay Ivy's ad, she name checks California. She's talking about transgender sports, not in Alabama. Take that to California. You know, she's got that almost like exaggerated foghorn leghorn type accent. I don't know anybody who actually talks that way who's not Kay Ivy. She's like a female boss hog from Dukes of Hazzard or something. But in all of her ads, they're nuts. I mean, like, and she's sort of like the moderate in the Alabama Republican Party, if you can believe that or whatever, because she is like, you know, a 76-year-old closet lesbian and daytime drunk. She is a little bit more socially progressive than some of these people are in their real lives. Kay Ivy's ads, like in one ad, I almost want to post a link. If you guys haven't seen these ads, you should do yourself a favor and Google them. They say Hollywood doesn't make comedies anymore, and they're right, because the best comedies come out of the Alabama political circuit. But there's one ad where like two guys they're at a gun range and they're talking about her accomplishments, you know, because at a gun range, that's when people want to have very serious political debates, as normal people do. That's where they naturally would discuss politics, is at a gun range where there's loaded ammunition and tempers flaring and everything, in the heat of the day, too. And over to the side, finally, at the end, Kay Ivy has one sentence, one line where she goes, "Ain't no step too high for a high stepper." And then the two men in the ad say, "What's she talking about? I don't know, but it sounds good." And I'm like, if that isn't a perfect ad for Kay Ivy, in that she's not in it, you don't see her, she can't be found, and then shows up at the very end to say something that doesn't fucking make sense. And then the two people don't really know what she's saying, but they're going to vote for her anyway, right? And so that's almost the perfect ad. There's another one where it's like an anti-Joe Biden ad, and basically she's just silent. She doesn't really say anything until the end where she goes, "Bless his heart." Now that's a perfect ad for Kay Ivy because she refuses to debate. She rarely goes on the campaign trail. You don't really see her or hear from her until it's time to run for re-election. So an ad where she's mostly silent and doing nothing, that's a perfect distillation of a Kay Ivy ad. So that really does make sense. There's other ones where she's anti-transgender sports, not in Alabama, you know, just about to crack you up if you look at it. And then there's another one about critical race theory, of course. I'm not sure if she put a gun to her head, she could tell you what it was, but she's against it and she's banned it. So you can all rest easy at night. Alabama doesn't have a lottery, you know, hasn't gotten rid of the food tax that they proposed and different things like that. So, but critical race theory and transgender sports are gone. So the 5 transgender people in Birmingham, you better find somewhere else to live, okay? So, I mean, everybody can sleep easy on that score, okay? Mo Brooks's ads are like anti-Mitch McConnell ads, which is hilarious that that's what he would base his campaign on. Like, oh, you know who I'm going to get? The Republican leader of the Senate. That's really needs to be taken down in my ads. That's going to win me a lot of votes. Katie Britt's ads are insane. She's talking about anti-abortion, this and that. And then half the ads get her football player husband, washed up, depending on his wife for an income, football player husband who's just lumbers in there almost as if it's saying, "Hey, I have a husband, I'm married. It's okay to vote for a woman for the Senate, you know, just this once. You know, I know you don't want to, but you can do it just this once." Michael Durant's ads are nuts. Most of the time, everybody's disgusted with Joe Biden. Tim James, his ads are perhaps the craziest of them all, even though when he shows these clips, like he's showing, "Do you even recognize America today?" And it shows this dystopian George Floyd riots and the buildings on fire and stuff like that. But no, he doesn't mention that that's actually an anti-Trump ad. Every clip he's showing is from 2020, the last year Trump was in office. So that's actually a pretty great ad for Biden. Not sure he noticed that, though.